Hello, 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 everyone. I am back. You may have noticed that I skipped recording for Wednesday. I do apologize for that. I decided to pick that to be a lazy day, but to make up for it, I'm gonna make sure I have two recordings on the same day, which is today, Thursday. See? Right there. 25th of October. And, so far, well, I should probably do the chapter recap before we get into chapter 20, hardware upgrade. In the last three parts, Riley, Tip, and Hiro, last two parts I should be saying, they chased Baymax to the warehouse where the warehouse scene for Big Hero 6 took place, where a masked man showed up. He copied Hiro's microbots and was now using them as his own. He he attacked them, trying to capture them or something, but they escaped. So they all went home. Riley had a talk with Aunt Cass. She and Hiro reconciled with each other. And Hiro has figured out that the Masked Man had something to do with the expo fire that killed Tadashi. So, this chapter will be focusing on them giving Baymax his hardware upgrade, like in the film. If I'm correct, of course, which I am correct. Hi.
You're young, aren't you?
Yep.
Very young, isn't it?
She's 5 years old. Her name's Lola.
You smell a dog on me.
Sorry.
You smell a dog on me.
I see. Lola, back. Lola. 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 Have a nice day. Sorry, Lola was trying to, she came up to a friendly woman that I had a chat with. Alright, let's get into chapter 20, hardware upgrade. I will be going near cars at this time since I'm walking to Beck's Hill. Don't worry, I'll still look both ways. And also make sure that the noises isn't drowning out my lovely commentary. I'll try and get onto a road where I can do the commentary without you hearing the cars, but for the beginning of this chapter at least, I'm going to do so while walking along the path. So, let's go. Wasabi hummed a little tune to himself as he stepped out of the door to his apartment, closing it behind him. He inserted his key to lock the door, before he jiggled the lock to ensure that it was indeed sealed. As he did, Wasabi thought he heard a noise, which caused him to stop humming and look down the hall to where it turned a corner, where he saw nothing but a row of doors leading into other apartments. Wasabi looked down the hall for a few quiet moments before shrugging and turning to head in the opposite direction. Looks like they were focusing on Wasabi this time around. As you can tell, for the last 3 chapters, he, Honey Lemon, Go-Go, and Fred haven't really been present, since those last 3 chapters were following the story of Big Hero 6 from Baymax accidentally getting activated by Hiro up to the warehouse sequence, and to taking Baymax home. As he turned around, Wasabi gave a surprise start. As he found a woman standing behind him. She was a short, Hispanic woman near the end of her middle age, her raven black hair threaded with silver. She looked up at Wasabi through a pair of thick spectacles, the corners of her eyes crinkled by crow's feet. "Miss Reyes!" Wasabi said as he placed his hand over his chest and took a few quick breaths. "You shouldn't sneak up on people like that." I have to stop yet again because Lola is now currently doing her daily dump. This is gonna go well on YouTube, isn't it? have that finally done. I know what you're hiding, Dada, the woman said bluntly, a slight Spanish accent to her words. I'm not sure I know what you're talking about, Miss Reyes, Wasabi replied in confusion. Oh no. She's just recently been introduced now, and I think she knows about O. You've got some sort of animal in that apartment of yours, Miss Reyes explained as she pointed at the door to Wasabi's apartment. You know you're not allowed to have pets in the building. I guess, considering that O looks like an octopus. I don't have a pet, Miss Reyes, Wasabi argued, his smile turning slightly nervous. Don't you lie to me, young man, Miss Reyes hissed as she pointed her finger towards Wasabi's face. I hear something moving around in your apartment when you're not home. I really have no idea what you're talking about, Miss Reyes, Wasabi said as sweat began to form on his brow. I really don't have a pet in there. We'll see what the super has to say about it, Miss Reyes replied as she crossed her arms over her chest. Another reference to Incredibles, I believe? You know, I really love how Finmonster truly appreciates the Western animation of Disney, Pixar, and DreamWorks. That he's willing to make references of them here and there throughout. It's especially a favorite for me because, well, I recently saw Incredibles 2 and I love that along with the first movie. I think that Incredibles 2 is one of the best superhero movies I've ever seen, up there with Avengers Infinity War. And, you know, I hope I don't anger people when I say this, but despite how absolutely crazy it was, and the fact that I had little to no idea what was going on except for a few points here and there, I enjoyed Teen Titans Go to the movies. Bring your pitchforks and torches if you want. It's just my personal opinion. Whatever you say, Miss Reyes, Wasabi stated, giving the woman a helpless shrug as he scooted around her and made his way down the hall in the opposite direction he had been looking in earlier. Miss Reyes watched Wasabi leave until the young man turned a corner and disappeared, prompting her to raise her nose and sniff disdainfully before re-entering her own apartment. A moment later, Tip, Riley, and Hiro stuck their heads out from around the corner they had been hiding behind. Okay, Hiro whispered with a nod. I think the coast is clear. I still don't get why we can't tell him, Tip stated quietly as the three of them snuck up to the door leading to Wasabi's apartment. Yeah. As you know, at the end of the last chapter, Chapter 19, Hiro and Riley agreed that they would keep this a secret from the others except for Tip. I thought they were going to see Sensei Takahito, but I guess they're going to pick up O. Like I told Riley, he's safer this way, Hiro replied as they reached the door. Wasabi is a black belt and a grown axeman, Tip argued. He doesn't need us protecting him. She's got a point, fear muttered in Riley's head. There's not much karate can do against what we saw yesterday, Hiro replied. Trust me, it's better this way. Tip gave Hiro a dubious look before turning her attention towards Riley, who gave the girl a helpless shrug as she adjusted her grip on the bundle of clothes she was carrying, prompting the other girl to roll her eyes and sigh. Come on, let's do this before someone shows up, Hiro said before he turned to the door and knocked. Oh? Riley called through the door, doing her best to keep her voice down. Oh, it's us. Open the door. Haha, they are going to pick up O, and I've just remembered that I haven't done O's voice for about 3 chapters. There was a moment where the three children heard nothing from the other side of the door. Then, something began moving, approaching the door slowly. A moment later, the door opened and O peeked his head out. "Oh, hellos!" He greeted in surprise before smiling broadly at the three children. "I was not expecting the company today." I think I nailed it. "We're not here to visit, O," Hiro explained. "We need your help with something." "You are needing my help?" O parroted in confusion. "With what?" "Sometime during this half-term, I have got to watch home. I've had the DVD since, since August. It's just been sitting on my DVD shelf, waiting for the chance to be watched. I think it's about time that I do so, since we are getting to the point where it will be required. Of course, after I watch home, there will be, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there will be elements of home that will pop up in this story here and there. And depending on what I like in it, I will try recreating the material as much as I can. If there's something that I think could be improved, I'll improve on it. If you get what I mean. "It will be better if you come with us," Hiro replied. "Comes with yous?" O repeated with trepidation, his skin turning yellow as he talked. "I cannot be coming with you. I will be the scenes." And, if you were unable to hear that, at least you could read it. Sorry, it's just that... roads and all that. "That's why we brought you these," Riley said as she handed O the bundle of clothes she had been carrying. O took the clothes into his tentacle-like arms and looked down at them with a confused expression, as his skin shifted back to its natural purple hue. "What does I use these for?" O questioned as he looked up at Riley. "You wear them, doofus," Tip explained with a roll of her eyes. "It's a disguise." "Oh, I sees," O replied as he looked over the items in his hand. "This is very cunnings." O took a minute to put the clothes on, which consisted of a large grey fit sweatshirt, a black ski cap, and a pair of black sunglasses. The sweatshirt, as it turned out, hung just above the floor on the booth, while the sleeves completely covered O's arms and hands. The hat and hood were stretched tight across his large square head, and the sunglasses covered only half his eyes. "I'm sure the disguise will be good. How do I appear?" O questioned as he stretched out his arms for the others to see. "I mean, he could fool a blind person, I suppose," Discuss sighed. "Respect towards the blind people, Discuss. Come on." I really hate recording this story while walking with cars whizzing past. You can barely hear... I mean, unless I raise my voice, you can barely hear what I'm saying. And people may already think I'm, never mind. The three children shared dubious glances before Tip shrugged helplessly. "Good enough," Hiro answered before he reached out and grabbed O's arm, before pulling the booth out of the doorway, while Riley reached up and pulled the door to the apartment closed behind him. As the door shut, the one next door opened, causing the four of them to freeze in their tracks. "Who's making all that racket out here?" Miss Reyes demanded as she began to step into the hall. I'm really sorry, guys. I just wanted you to be able to hear all that. "Oh, crud," Hiro whispered as he and Tip stepped in front of O, doing their best to conceal the booth behind them. "What do we do?" Fear screamed in Riley's head. "What do we do?" "That's it!" Riley whispered to herself before she shut her eyes tight in concentration, focusing all her attention on her sense of fear. Hold on. Oh, Riley has an idea? Are we gonna see more of her empathy powers? This is gonna be interesting! Something's happening! Fear suddenly exclaimed. What's happening? What's happening? What? Fear's cries of panic descended into an almost ear-piercing shriek as Riley felt the electric jolt of energy surge out of her. A second later, Miss Reyes rose halfway out of her door before she let out a scream, rolled around, and slammed her apartment door behind her. There was a quiet moment as everyone stared at the apartment door. Slowly, Hiro, Tip, and O pried their gazes from the door and turned them towards Riley, who was wiping sweat from her brow. Good girl! Was that you? Hiro whispered. Yes it was. Yeah, Riley admitted with a nod of her head. Figured I could scare her off with a little fear. That was more than a little, Tip observed. I'm still getting the hang of this, Riley replied. I hope I didn't give her a heart attack or something. I don't feel so good, Fear groaned in Riley's head. Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Yeah, welcome to the party, pal, Anger replied with a snort. Come on, Hiro said as he nodded back the way the group had come. Let's get going before someone else shows up. Yeah, it'll be a very good idea before I end up accidentally triggering everyone's PTSD again from Infinity War comment. From Infinity War. Before I trigger everyone's PTSD over Infinity War. Oh my god. Oh my god. I really hope I didn't spoil anything. If I did, I am so sorry. The others silently agreed and quickly made their way back down the hall and out of the building. Oh, finally! And you know what? I think I'm gonna be having a quick break before I start recording again. Later. Okay, we're here, Hiro said as he pulled the door to his garage open and ushered everyone inside. Everyone get inside. The others quickly stepped under the door, allowing Hiro to step into the garage himself and shut the door behind him. What were you thinking, wandering into the street like that? Tip demanded as she glared down at O. The man was standing at the exact centers of the road, O argued. He could have been struck by one of the combustion-powered vehicles. For crying out loud, discussed Grode. He was a traffic cop, O, Riley explained with a sigh. He was supposed to be standing in the middle of the street. Oh, O stated with understanding. My apologies, then. Oh, that's okay, O, you didn't know. At least you were trying to help. Well, Joy sighed. At least his heart was in the right place. Does he have a heart? Fear questioned. Like, seriously, does he? Or is he filled with candy on the inside? I'm actually kind of curious. Okay, you guys hang out here, Hiro said as he made his way towards the door that led into the house. I'll go get Baymax. The others nodded in agreement and began to settle down in the garage as Hiro left. Making his way up to his room, Hiro found Baymax where he had left him, standing up in his charger, his head dipped as if he was sleeping. Alright. I'm crossing the road. And... ta-da! Walking over to him, Hiro kneeled down to get a better look at his charging case. Oh yeah, because since the last chapter he was charging, and now that I'm getting onto a more quieter road, you shouldn't be hearing any cars for the time being. Tadashi, Baymax suddenly said, causing Hiro to start in surprise before he stepped away and looked up at the robot, who was looking at something in another part of the room. Following Baymax's gaze, Hiro saw the robot was looking at Tadashi's bed, his brother's hat sitting on the neatly folded sheets. Where is Tadashi? Baymax questioned as he turned his attention towards Hiro. He's gone, Baymax. Hiro replied, his expression turning morose. When will he return? Baymax asked, tilting his head to one side as he did. No, Baymax, Hiro said, sighing before continuing. He's dead. Tadashi was in excellent health, Baymax stated with what sounded like genuine befuddlement. With a proper diet and exercise, he should have lived a long life. Yeah, he should have, Hiro agreed, his expression grim. But there was a fire set by... Hiro's voice trailed off as he clenched his hand into a fist. Glancing down, Baymax noted the gesture, before turning his attention fully towards Hiro again. The point is, he's gone now. Hiro finished with an angry sigh. Tadashi is here, Baymax stated. People keep saying that, Hiro said with a shake of his head, that he's with us as long as we remember him. Hiro let out a contemptuous snort before he sat down on the edge of his own bed. Still hurts all the same, Hiro muttered as he stared down at his feet. You see, this is the point that I'm trying to get at with the fictional characters. It's true that they are just meant to be that. Characters and stories that are just non-realistic. And yet, they're so relatable in that they face the same struggles and pain as us in real life, that we still feel sympathy for them all the same. That's how I'm feeling right now. I detect no evidence of physical injury, Baymax stated. It's a different kind of hurt, Hiro explained with another sigh. One you can't just fix with a bandage and a lollipop. Baymax seemed to ponder Hiro's words for a moment before taking a step towards the boy. You are my patient, Hiro, Baymax stated. I would like to help. Before Hiro could reply, he heard an odd mechanical noise accompanied by a series of electronic beeps. Lifting his head, Hiro found Baymax standing next to his desk, the robot's hand resting on top of the monitor to the boy's desktop computer. Images were rapidly flashing across the computer screen, while identical ones were appearing rapid-fire on the screen projected onto Baymax's chest. What are you doing? Hiro questioned as he quirked an eyebrow at Baymax. I am downloading a database on personal loss, Baymax explained before he lifted his hand from the monitor and the stream of images suddenly stopped. Database downloaded. Walking over to Hiro, Baymax bent down and wrapped his arms around the boy, pulling him into a soft, warm embrace. What are you doing now? Hiro questioned uncomfortably. Treatments include compassion and physical reassurance, Baymax explained as he rested his cheek against the top of Hiro's head and began patting it with one hand. You will be alright. There. Thanks, Baymax, Hiro said, a small smile quickly appearing on his face before it fell away. There is a way for you to help me, though. Is it okay for me to say that I actually like this bit more than the movie bit? I mean, it does occur at a different place and a different time. I mean, same place but different time. But it's... pardon me. it's still faithful to the movie. Come with me. Sorry. How may I be of assistance? Baymax questioned. Come with me, Hiro replied, gesturing with his head for Baymax to follow before he made his way down the stairs and out of the room, the robot following dutifully behind him. Together they made their way into the garage, where they found O, Riley, and Tip waiting. Greetings, Baymax said, stopping at the door and giving everyone a little wave. Hey, Baymax, Riley replied with a grin. Feeling better today? I am fully recharged, Baymax answered, before his gaze fell on O and lingered for an uncomfortably long time. Oh, because the last time the two of them had met, it was when Riley had first gotten her powers, isn't it? Hellos again, O greeted with a small wave and an awkwardly large grin. You are the anomaly I counted before, Baymax stated. I have no information in my databases that match your biometric readings. That's because he's an alien, Tip explained drolly. Nationality would not factor this heavily into his biometric readings, Baymax replied. What? Riley asked in confusion before she realized what Baymax had meant. No, Baymax, he's a space alien. An extraterrestrial. An alien species, Baymax said with a tone of understanding. I will file this data away for future use. Alright, so guys, I'm walking next to a driller. Alright, I passed the driller, and some more construction work going on. Okay. He took that pretty well, Joy observed. I mean, he is a robot, Sandus replied. This is probably as close to shocked as he gets. This car coming, so I need to...
Yeah, he told me that last time he flew with Wizz Air and he got cancelled.
If you could hear talking, that was me walking by a construction crew on my way to Bexhill. Okay, so how about we cut to the chase? Tip spoke up as she looked at Hiro. What exactly is your plan? We're going to use Baymax to capture the man in the mask and take him to prison for killing my brother and Professor Callahan, Hiro explained as he crossed his arms over his chest. Sound plan. There was a quiet moment as Tip arced an eyebrow at Hiro. I get the feeling she's not on board, Discuss commented. That's it, Tip questioned. What's wrong with it? Hiro asked in return, his brow furrowing in confusion. Mostly that you're relying on Baymax to capture a dangerous criminal, Tip drawled, motioning towards Hiro. Lola! No! Sorry, Lola was trying to chase a squirrel. I'll read it again. Mostly that you're relying on Baymax to capture a dangerous criminal, Tip drawled, motioning towards Baymax as she spoke. Seeing as he's a fluffy marshmallow who moves at half the speed of smell. That's why O and I are going to upgrade him, Hiro replied defiantly. When we're done with him, Baymax will be a better crime fighter than Metro Man himself. As Hiro spoke, Baymax caught sight of a soccer ball lying on the garage floor nearby. Walking over to it, Baymax attempted to lean down to pick it up, but ended up accidentally kicking it with one of his stubby feet, sending it rolling across the floor. Baymax chased after it, but every time he drew closer, he would kick the ball again, leading him to endlessly follow it across the room as the others watched. Forgive me if I don't hold my breath, Tip commented. For those of you who want to know who Metro Man is, or who don't know, he, you remember the movie Megamind? Well, in that movie, Metro Man Macho Man is a superhero who opposes Megamind at the beginning of the film. I have never seen Megamind before, but, whatever, you'll see, Hiro said dismissively before turning his attention towards O. What do you say, O? You think you can help me out? Of course! O exclaimed before a smile turned slightly nervous. I hope so. Well then, Hiro said as he cracked his knuckles. Let's get started then. Now this is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna have to stop recording again because I need to cross the road. Sorry about this, guys. I have successfully crossed over the road, and I am safe. I do apologize for the sudden break in the story, but let us continue on. Grabbing Baymax, they led him over to one of the garage walls before having him stand up next to one of the walls with his arms held out to his sides. As he did, Hiro walked in front of him with a handheld scanner, which he pointed at Baymax, causing lines of green light to wash over the robot for a few seconds. Will apprehending the man in the mask improve your emotional state? Baymax questioned as Hiro lowered the scanner and made his way over to the garage's computer. What was that? Joy questioned. Yeah, sure. Hiro mumbled as he glanced over at Tip and Riley, watching as the blonde's brow furrowed. What's he talking about, Hiro? Riley questioned. Baymax got tired of being my nurse, so now he's taking a crack at being my psychiatrist. Hiro replied flippantly as he sat in the chair in front of the computer. I can't really argue with that. Really? Tip questioned as she looked over at Baymax. Since when are you qualified for that? Since I downloaded the database on the subject, Baymax answered simply. Well, it's good to know we've got Baymax on our side, Joy commented. That you are right, Joy. That you are right. Walking over to the computer, Riley leaned over Hiro's shoulders to see what he was doing. What are you working on? Riley questioned. Well, part of what we need to do is teach Baymax some moves, Hiro explained as an image of the robot appeared on screen. Check this out. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Riley quirked an eyebrow at the boy but didn't question him as Hiro pulled a video up on screen. The video showcased a relatively poor quality video of a middle-aged man dressed in a karate gi fighting a half-dozen men dressed in stereotypical ninja outfits. You found an old kung fu movie? Riley questioned, her eyebrows still raised. Take a closer look, Hiro replied as he paused the video on a close-up shot of the man's face. Her brow furrowing, Riley leaned in closer to get a better look at the man before her eyes widened in shock. I'm shocked a bit that this is about a dozen times that we've heard Riley's brow furrowing, or the sentence's brow furrowing in a while. No way! Joyce said excitedly. Is that? Riley paused mid-sentence as she leaned closer to the screen in an attempt to get a better look. Is that Takahito-sensei? It sure is, Hiro answered with a chuckle. Apparently he did a couple of martial arts movies in Hong Kong a few decades back. That's crazy, Riley stated with a chuckle. What does it have to do with upgrading Baymax? Like I said, we have to give Baymax some moves, Hiro explained as he typed a command onto the keyboard, which caused the image of Baymax on the screen to begin mimicking Takahito's movements as the video started to play again. And I think Takahito would make a great teacher. Given that they can't just take Baymax over to Takahito so that he could personally teach Baymax some moves. But what can you do? Technology and all that. As the two watched the video, Baymax wandered up behind them. Grinning, Hiro turned to look back at Baymax. Now, let's take care of this, Hiro said as he poked Baymax in his inflated stomach before rolling away. As Hiro left, Baymax looked down at himself and poked his stomach as well, causing Riley to giggle. In case you haven't noticed, this scene is from the movie, and Takahito wasn't originally in Big Hero 6, so for the next few hours, Hiro was a blur of motion, darting between the different workstations he had set up around the garage. Baymax and the girls could only sit back and watch him work, while O offered advice and even inputted a few commands of his own, before Hiro's equipment began machining various metal plates. Alright, done, Hiro said as he finished putting the final touches on Baymax and stepped away, turning to the others with a grin plastered across his face. What do you guys think? The girls looked at Baymax with equally dubious expression. The robot was now covered in gray, green, and black-colored metal armor, with particularly thick plates around his shoulders and lower arms. The most noticeable addition, however, were the black metal bands around Baymax's midsection, which bulged outwards to accommodate his girth. I have some concerns, Baymax spoke up with what Riley could have sworn was a hint of certainty in his voice. I believe this armor undermines my non-threatening, huggable design. That's kind of the idea, buddy, Hiro replied with a smirk. You look sick. I cannot be sick, Baymax replied. I am a robot. It's just an expression, Hiro replied with a sigh. Yep, it's the scene from Big Hero 6 where Baymax first gets his armor. And similar to Iron Man, the armor is custom made and for defense and pretty much nothing else. Oh, but don't worry, it gets better. I really don't have to keep stopping these recordings while I'm walking, but I don't want to accidentally get myself hit by a car is all. How can I continue my Let's Read series if there is no narrator to read this stuff? Anyway, he looks ridiculous, Tip stated, earning a small glare from the boy. Please, he looks badass, Hiro argued with a snort before he turned his attention towards Riley. Come on, Riley, you have to agree with me. Well... Riley mumbled as she tucked a stray hair behind her ear. Has no one in this story seen Iron Man before? Jeez. He looks ridiculous, disgust parroted in her head. What? If you saw Iron Man and saw the first armor he'd ever built, like 10 years ago IRL, pretty sure that you would, Baymax's armor doesn't come with flamethrowers, unfortunately, so... Well, it would make sense for him not to have any, since he is supposed to be a medical bot. Oh, come on! Hiro groaned as Tip let out a bark of laughter. I take it that Hiro suddenly heard disgust saying that. I just prefer him cuddly, Riley replied, crossing her arms as her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. Hiro sighed and ran a hand through his hair while his computer let out a soft chime. Data download complete, the computer announced. Data download complete, the computer announced. I was trying to have the computer gain the voice from Smart Brain. Grinning, Hiro made his way over to the computer and entered a command, causing a red data chip to jut out of the computer. Grabbing a pen, Hiro pulled the data chip out of the computer and quickly drew a skull and crossbones on it. Smiling at his handiwork, Hiro turned towards Baymax, who had wandered over to him with the others. What is that? Tip questioned. It's a data chip containing all of the combat protocols I'm going to install in Baymax, Hiro explained as he tapped the opening he had left in Baymax's armor, granting him access to the robot's hard drive. With this little baby, he'll really be able to do some damage. As the hard drive opened, Hiro moved to insert the data chip, before he paused as he noted the green data chip still inserted, staring at the cartoon depiction of a doctor drawn on it. Baymax's healthcare chip is going to be accompanied by the karate chip. Well, since red and green go really well together, why not just make Baymax sing Christmas carols while you're at it? It still has Tadashi's name on it, Sandus whispered. Oh, are we sure this is the right thing to do? Are you sure about this, Hiro? Riley questioned, her expression full of concern as she placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. Your brother built Baymax to be a healer. Do you think he'd want this? Isn't there another way? Riley felt uncertainty sweep through Hiro's thoughts. But it was quickly replaced by a sensation of smoldering rage. Someone has to bring Tadashi's killer to justice, Hiro stated resolutely. Who better than the machine he built? With that, Hiro inserted the data chip into one of the empty ports, causing it to retract back into Baymax. As it did, Baymax straightened up and was quiet for a few moments before he turned his attention back to Hiro. Hiro does have a point. I mean, Tadashi built Baymax to be a healer, and he can still do that. But he can also be a champion. And he can start by avenging Tadashi by catching the man who caused his death. I fail to see how karate makes me a better healthcare companion, Baymax stated. You want to keep me healthy, don't you? Hiro questioned with a snort of amusement. Walking to a corner of the garage, Hiro grabbed a wood board that was leaning against the wall. Bringing it back over to the group, Hiro held the board out towards Baymax with both hands. Oh, so he didn't just produce the wooden board out of thin air, did he? Punch this, Hiro commanded, a wicked grin on his face. Seriously? Tip questioned. Baymax can't punch his way out of a paper... Tip was silenced as Baymax's hand shot through the board, snapping it in two with frightening ease. Tip's eyes were as wide as saucer plates as Hiro examined the two halves of wood before grinning at Tip. Yeah, Baymax just became Hulk Hogan. Okay, now we're going to show off O's contribution, Hiro explained as he walked over to another part of the garage and picked up an open can of paint. What are you going to do with that? Riley questioned. This, Hiro replied before looking at the robot. Hey Baymax, think fast! With that, Hiro hurled the paint can at Baymax, causing the girl's eyes to widen in surprise. Baymax watched the paint can approach him impassively, before he raised his left arm up at the last second. As he did, a shiny circle of blue energy expanded from the raised armor on Baymax's forearms. The paint can struck the field of energy in the area near Baymax's face, but bounced off the field as if it were solid. The paint can clattering to the floor as ripple ran through the field. Okay, why wasn't that in Big Hero 6? Because Baymax just took a page out of Captain Freaking America! Awesome! Joy exclaimed. Well, it is awesome. It's Captain Freaking America. I'm also currently sitting down in a small kiosk on Bexhill Beach. Whoa! Riley exclaimed as Baymax lowered his arm and the field dissipated. That was so cool! Was that some kind of force field? Tip questioned, her eyebrows having migrated to somewhere near her hairline. Actually, it was a hard light barrier created with resonant frequency that... O began to explain. Yeah, it's a force field, Hiro confirmed with a nod, earning an annoyed glare from O. Energy shield! Not force field, energy shield. I'm gonna call it an energy shield from now on, I don't care. I have to say, I'm impressed, guys, Tip admitted with a smirk as she crossed her arms over her chest. You haven't seen anything yet, Tip, Hiro stated with a cocky grin before he turned his attention towards the robot. Baymax, how about you show us your moves? At Hiro's command, Baymax began running through a series of complex martial arts moves, consisting of spinning kicks and lightning-fast punches and chops. As he finished, he turned his attention towards Hiro, who gave him a bow, prompting the robot to do the same in return. Awesome! Hiro exclaimed happily before he held out his fist to Baymax. Fist bump! There was a pause as Baymax looked down at Hiro's fist, before turning his attention back to the boy's face. Fist bump is not in my fighting database, Baymax informed him. It's not a fighting thing, Baymax, Riley spoke with a chuckle and a shake of her head. It's what people do sometimes when they're excited or pumped up. I personally like to call it the bro fist. Here, let me show you, Hiro said, bringing the robot's attention back to him. Grabbing Baymax's arm, Hiro positioned it with his out held to the boy, the robot's hand open. Hiro then proceeded to high-five the robot, before coming around and tapping the backs of their hands together as well. He then finished by holding his fist out to Baymax again, prompting the robot to make a fist as well, and bump his gently against Hiro's. As soon as their knuckles touched, Hiro pulled his hand towards his head, making an explosion sound while spreading his fingers. Baymax paused for a moment as he took in the gesture, before he pulled his hand back towards his head while wiggling his fingers, and making a noise that sounded something close to ba-la-la-la, ba-la-la-la, ba-la-la-la. The heck was that? Anchor questioned. It was close enough, Joy replied with what Riley guessed was a shrug. I guess. Now you're getting it, Hiro commented with a chuckle. I will add fist bump to my caregiving matrix, Baymax stated. Sounds good, Hiro stated with a nod before turning his attention towards the others. Now, how about we go catch a supervillain? Man, this was an interesting chapter. And don't worry, either today or tomorrow the next one will be up soon. Will be recorded soon. Hey guys, hope you like this one. I had a lot of fun writing it. I had a lot of fun reading it, Finmonster. Very faithful to the movie, and it was incredible as well. Plus, you gave Baymax a freaking energy shield. That is so awesome. Okay. Anyways, in the next chapter, we will finally be chasing the Masked Man. Until then, I'm the Masked Ranger saying, energy shields are awesome. Have a nice day, and keep moving forward.